Welcome to the world united. Welcome to the world united.
Discussion. So this discussion that we, or the subject of our discussion that we're assigned to have is the path to self-mastery. Now, Laura, you gave us a lot of insights during your talk into self-mastery. And I see Lisa has joined us. Welcome, Lisa. We enjoyed very much your presentation. And so I throw that question out to you too, since you're the two speakers here. I'd like to just throw it out to you. Let's discuss a little bit the path to self-mastery. Laura, you gave us some things. Lisa, you were on video, so maybe if you'd like to start off, that would be cool.
Thank you. I would love to. So for me, it's a very simple, I would say simple, could be a long answer, but one of the things, I work in the Akashic field. And so many, many years ago, the Akashic record keepers, who are the record keepers of your soul's library. So I'll just do the little definition, right? Every person has their very own private Akashic record with their own private librarians who are keeping the records of your soul. And I have been gifted with the ability to speak to these beautiful librarians and to teach other people how to do this for themselves. And so many years ago, when the record keepers asked me to start a school, they said, it is time to bring this wisdom back to humanity and to teach this to the world, because it is time for us to have this version of self-mastery. And so my workshop, I actually call Akashic Self-Mastery, because what I find is that when I can teach someone to access their soul's guidance, the wisdom of who they have been through time immemorial, because of course, most of us humans have been here 400, 500, 600 lifetimes. Now, the interesting thing is that the children more who are coming in will not be bringing in the old karma, will not have spent so many lives on earth. But many of us who are over 30 have spent hundreds and hundreds of lives on earth. And we're reaching this point where we're coming back to help people awaken and to shift the energy into a higher vibration. And one of the ways I teach people to do that is by helping them to understand the greater truth of who you are, that you're not just this one little body, this one little life, that you are truly that infinite soul who has had all of these lifetimes and so many gifts you could, hardly imagine. So when I teach people to start to access their own Akashic records and talk with their record keepers, we can start to work through, why would I pick this family? Why do I have these challenges in my life? What can I know? What can I clear? What can I learn, right? So as Lori was speaking, it's so much about this growth, our soul growth, and we choose challenge to step us up to that point where we can grow as a soul. And so what I have found, the gift that I've been given, is really about accessing this soul guidance to help you grow and become conscious and aware in who you are, not just in this life, but of course, in that more expansive state of who you have been throughout time-space continuum. And it's always so interesting because your soul did make a whole plan. What did you want to, right? What did you want to learn? What gifts and talents did you want to share? And of course, what soul contracts did you write with other people to support them and have them support you, or to learn and grow in so many different ways? So to me, the Akashic records are a beautiful tool to create this divine soul mastery, because you're learning so much about your soul and who you are now and really throughout the time-space continuum. And it's so perfect because we can go in there and really understand that big picture. And also another great gift that we find is that when we move into the Akashic Records, because it is the quantum field of the all, it is part of source energy, we can do very deep soul healing and karmic healing of old patterns that have held us back in the past. And so that is really, to me, the gift and the lesson that I've learned, and the work I've been given to share with the world, is helping people to kind of step into their own self-mastery with greater ease by having conscious guidance every day, by being able to speak to these beings of light who have kept your records through time immemorial. So it's different than speaking to your angels, who I, of course, love my angels, or other guides, because this is these beings of light who have held you throughout time and know you in a way that most of us have never known ourselves. And they're here to guide us to know ourselves in that way.
Lori, did you have something you wanted to add to the self-mastery path?
Yeah, for sure. You know, as I'm receiving everything, Lisa, is such a beautiful understanding. And there's so many things I've discovered over the years of the tools that we can use. And I love the conversation of the Akashics. I love the conversation that there is a support there for us to be able to delve into that unique experience that we're meant to have here. Like you said, the contracts and the gifts that we all have. And it's really, truly exciting to know that in the mastery, self-mastery, we talk about this often in different circles about our mastery. And for me, the awareness of mastery is simply knowing that you wish to be fully who you are, that you wish to experience the world in a space of all that you are. You know, whether it is the connection through these divine souls that hold you in the Akashic, like Lisa's talking about, or to know yourself in connection to your family, or myself with my daughter, to allow yourself to follow the path, the dot, the next step, the place that will allow you to enhance more of who you are. Uniqueness is an ever-changing experience, because your experience right now is going to be completely different than your experience in an hour. If you allow yourself to be enhanced by what you're knowing now, like I'm feeling such consciousness, Lisa, thank you, of, oh, there's this bigger awareness for me. So then that allows me then to tomorrow or the next day or an hour, when I connect with another soul, to now have this awareness with me. So mastery for me is just this place of just being aware that you are a beautiful, divine being exactly as you are, no matter where you're stepping right now.
Cool.
Cool. So cool. And I would like to say that it's fun. Like it's fun. You know, we like do these talks and we share and we speak, and you know, we kind of go into this little bit of a persona to allow people to experience more of themselves. And life is fun, even in the wobbles and the concerns and the there's some things that happen every day. Like, I mean, I'm a mom. There's some times where I do that mom thing and my daughter's like, oh, whatever, lady. But it's fun. We are truly here to enjoy and have fun and enjoy the play of life, no matter what's going on. You know, like sometimes it's hard in those moments, but after you can see, oh, I'm okay. I'm good. So I know we're all very, like, we seem like sometimes we're serious because we just know we have such beautiful things to share with the world. But we all feel that joy and that light. I know Lisa does, because I can see it radiating off her, and you do too. And Mike, and life's supposed to be fun in our mastery of ourselves and our world.
But it all comes down to making a decision, doesn't it? I mean, I'm sure that, the decision you made to see your whole experience the way you're seeing it, and for Lisa, you to take your life work and to say, okay, I'm going to take what I'm learning and pass it on. That's a decision that you consciously made, that not everybody makes. And I think that comes, we talked yesterday a little bit about how that comes with a responsibility, because you're carrying a heavy torch, but at the same time, it's you're a leader. You're doing such great work, both of you, to help expand people's understanding of where they are today. Lisa, you're saying, okay, here's where you fit in this whole progression of your soul's development. And Loree, I see you as saying, okay, but you're in that development today. Appreciate every second of it.
Yeah.
So it's like, you two guys, I don't know who put this together, but you guys fit like this. You really do.
I agree. It really is so beautiful because, I was just this morning, I'm in Sedona, and I got up before the sunrise and went out on the Red Rocks with a nice, lovely, I'm gonna say small group of, 20 people. And we did a whole big sound healing, and it was phenomenal. And then I'm like blessed to come back and get to speak and to share, and that balance of being, a soul, in a human body, and enjoying that humanness, the earth, the red rocks, the connection, to the divine on earth, and, and our families. I'm also blessed to have 3 children, and right, it's not always easy, but it's amazing. And so, yeah, I really think it is so important for us to be real, right? Authentic, and to be like, yeah, I mean, we are here to do so much, especially at this time in history. I find it so exciting. I can't wait for, the next year, and I see the energy raising, and I see so many people becoming conscious, and I really feel that we're moving into these beautiful higher, dimensions or frequencies, and we will, I believe the veils, as they thin, we become so much more conscious of each other and other ways of communicating telepathically, energetically. I really actually believe we'll probably use less language and more, right? You so feel everything from your daughter. She doesn't need a whole lot of words to clearly express. And it's so beautiful to be able to bring all of these pieces together, right? On all of these amazing paths that we have. Yeah.
I truly agree, Lisa. And, as Finney grew, we really understood. There was a time when she was first born where everybody said, you got to work hard to make sure she fits in the world. We did speech and OT and all these things. And as a young girl at 2.5, she was diagnosed with leukemia. And when we went into that situation, everything changed, because what I discovered is how she saw the world was pretty amazing, like really amazing. And I saw, it took many years. That was not an instantaneous experience for me, but I really saw how people around her could pause in how she saw the world. And like you were saying, Lisa, she doesn't require a lot of communication. And I had this conversation the other day with some people about, who do we look to understand how we want to be in the world? And how Sydney is in the world, I think, is pretty exceptional. People, we talk about being on the sensitivity spectrum or the neurodiverse spectrum of awareness, often in society are considered to be less than. But yet how they move in the present, how they understand that time isn't still or linear, how they experience in pixelated awareness. Ooh, that's what we're all going for. That's what we're all going for, right? We see these things all the time. I speak about when Sydney was little, we started doing this thing where we say, look for the magic first. Like everything else will always be there. Our interpretations, our intellect, our awareness of our beliefs are always there. So why not see through the magic first? Like even what we're doing here is so incredible to know that I'm sitting in my home and right now I'm connecting with hundreds of souls. And then this is on video. Like Lisa, you recorded that video, I don't know when, but it was like you were right here with me. We're moving through time and space right now in ways we never did before. And the awareness of that is the magic, right? This is magic. We get to be in this moment and another moment and a moment 2 years from now because somebody's going to watch that video and feel like they're right with you. Oh, it's what we all have been dreaming of. And it's right here already.
It really comes down to your perspective. You can choose to see the cup half full or the cup half empty, as the old adage goes. But it's really true. It's really true. It's like, and some days I get up and it's like, I'll go outside and I'll be in traffic and I'll just stop for a second and I'll realize this is a crazy day. People are a little crazy today, so I have to adjust. And I just adjust the way I'm a little more careful. But I think that awareness is, is kind of what we're all talking about. Where do you place your awareness? How frequently do you place your awareness, and how thoroughly do you place your awareness? And that's kind of what we're not struggling for, but what we're trying to get to is constant total awareness, I think.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, in so many different ways. Yes.
Lisa, I see behind you this beautiful picture that feels very galactic, and behind Mike is this beautiful galactic space. And, Mike, as you're talking about awareness, I can feel, Lisa, what you were talking about earlier with that Akashic, those beings holding me, and to allow such understanding that we are, eternal and always evolving. And I just think it's really beautiful to see that galactic energy coming in with both of you, and allowing that to be a part of our experience. That, Lisa, you talked about, it's not just this moment, it's all of what you've been. And, just such a gift that you bring that to the world for people.
Thank you. I think that we're just starting to come to that place where more and more people are believing that we are, of course, so much more, but not only so many more times of being human, so many more times of being also, galactic, that we're truly all star seeds. Many people talk about, what is a star seed? What does that mean? We've lived in so many planets, planes, and dimensions. This one, which has the pyramids and the moons, this is Sirius, the dog star Sirius. This is where the great Egyptian energies, gods, beings came from. And so it was sweet. I'm staying with some friends here in Sedona. And I said, oh, look, Sirius, like that's my home, right? I'm very Syrian if I look at my galactic kind of connections. And he's like, let me hang that up for you so you could have that with you on your video. And I was like, oh my gosh, so sweet to bring that kind of much more expansive. And so even if we've been 400 times human, we've been thousands and infinite numbers of times other places, planes, and dimensions. And so your Akashic record is not just 10 lifetimes that you had here, it's hundreds and other places. So we can certainly go into that. Who else have I been? Where in that place did I, why, what did, gifts did I want to bring? And I also see many of the children that are coming, and the 10-year-olds, 20-year-olds, even 30-year-olds who are bringing in much more expansive energies. I believe they'll be bringing in new inventions to help us here on this planet. And that's really why they're coming. Their talent, their gift to humanity. is bringing in new tools, new informations, new way of looking at the world. And so I really believe that in these next few years, and it could be 1, it could be 10, that we will start to see this bigger galactic connection happening also on the planet, because I certainly hear all about it when I open the Akashic records, that we're so infinite. Most of us have no idea how infinite we are, right? And many of the children, again, I believe they are here to bring these gifts to us and to help us, like your daughter. They're just amazing gifts. And they don't all show up in our boring old human way, right? So
right. They sure don't. Oh, thank you. Mike, I want to ask you, you've been moderating for a couple of days, I think, and we're talking about self-mastery. What are you noticing around that conversation for yourself and for the speakers that you get to connect with?
It's funny because I was thinking that earlier as I was watching, the different videos, that I hear, we've all heard it said, well, we're all saying the same thing, we're just saying it different ways. But I realized there's a little nuance to that also. We're saying it different ways, but we're also understanding it a different way. And I don't know if I'm making any sense here, so let me try. It's like, it was saying, Lisa, I'll use you as an example if you let me. You understand your soul's path, your soul's mission, your place today, because of you're able to funnel it through your understanding of the Akashic records, right? And the gentleman earlier was talking about Psych K, how he was funneling his understanding, and he was coming to very similar. I mean, we're all coming to the same sort of understandings, but each one of us has it's like, I don't know, it's like this big ball with all kinds of different holes, and we're coming through different windows, different doors, different windows to the same thing. And the danger is we get so caught up on thinking our door is the perfect door, and when you listen, they're all the doors. They're just doors, So I don't know if that answers your question, Lori, but it's like, I hear a lot of people, what's exciting is that there are all of these different ways. There is this technology that you alluded to, Lori, when you talked about, the fact that we can see all these different things now that 50 years ago we weren't exposed to. When I was a kid, and I'm not going to tell you how long ago that was, but it was a while. We dreamed of the things we talk about today. I can remember opening a little science magazine I got at school, and they were forecasting having, telephones where you would see each other. Well, we're way past that, And so this technology has done an interesting thing. It's got its negative aspects without a doubt, but it's also opened up the whole world to everybody. I mean, you literally can find pretty much anything. And so, you can now find somebody who has a perspective similar to yours. And the danger is you become isolated and think it's the only way, or you realize there's all these other ways too. And I think this Parliament is a wonderful opportunity for that, because it shows us that we're saying the same thing, but we're coming at it from different angles. So that's kind of what I've been seeing over the last couple of days.
I love it. And I love the conversation of the doors. Yesterday, or not, the other day, on one of the calls or the sessions, somebody was talking about, she had gone to her son's, there had been a thing in their family, and she had gone, and she said, and he opened the door. And I feel like all of us, are doing that thing where we're opening the door when somebody's knocking. I think, Mike, as you were saying, not only are we receiving and giving differently than we used to, but those doors, there's so many of them. And that's what we're all doing. We're just opening that door. And I just love that there's this space for so many people around the world to know that the doors are going to open. It's okay to knock on the one that you like. Like, I have a red door on the front of my house. My neighbor has like a black door. Whichever one you open, somebody's going to answer now. Somebody's going to do that. And Lisa, when I think about the Akashics, I wonder how often you feel that sense, right? A new door, a new chapter, a new book gets opened.
Oh, and yes, it's very true. And it's almost like every day right now. So every time we kind of go through another portal, right? So a lot of them feel very galactic in that sort of way. We're going through 10 10 11 11, we're coming up, we'll be on 12 12. These energies are portals that open and bring new vibrations to the planet. Of course, our solstices and equinoxes all open. Our even our moons and our eclipses, of course, they're all opening new doors and new portals for new energy. And so what I've been seeing over the last few years is that it's opening doors to much more information, more galactic information than 5 years ago, more connection to the starseed energy, to our ancient wisdom from even other worlds, as well as this world. We often go back into, 4,000 years ago when we were part of these beautiful ancient mystery schools or healing temples, or when we were oracles and such. So many different, pieces of information will come in. And often when we open these doors or these portals energetically, we get downloads of higher vibrations, and then we can access more information. So when the doors open, I'm a fan of running through in so many ways. Right. And I was actually just having this conversation this morning with somebody who was kind of saying how she had lived in Hawaii for 15 years and she came back to Sedona. And her guide said, it's time to come home. And she left Hawaii and came back and just like listened to that divine wisdom, and it's transformed her life in so many beautiful ways. Now, of course, it doesn't mean it's easy all the time, right? Rebuilding your business in a different place and all of that. And she said, but my husband, who never knew his father, met his father for the first time when we came back. And that was a huge door for him to open, because they walk through the door of it's time to go home, listening to their guides. And so, I really believe that's one of the important things, especially for all of us, whoever your guides are. If you can listen to the Akashic Record Keepers, that's lovely. If you have angelic guides or other, guides that are there with you, they're helping us to make new choices. And sometimes it's about moving. And again, that doesn't mean it's simple. But sometimes it's about starting a new kind of business or change, whatever that might be. And those are all absolute doors that are opening. And for many of us, I think the first time is the energy is raising and will continue over, from here on out, as it's going to start to open more and more doors. So the record keepers keep saying, look for the doors. And when it feels right in your heart, jump on through, because there's so much really juicy information, awakening gifts on the other side of that door.
I love that. It's so beautiful. Just so beautiful.
Thank you.
I'm thinking as we're talking here, okay, so we take this back now to the theme of unity. Okay, so the idea here is we're trying to not only, I guess, organize ourselves or organize people who think similarly to build up more of a mass consciousness. But at the same time, we have to, bring in other people. And when I say bring them in, whether that's done by showing them a new opening, a new door that kind of attracts them. But it seems to me that one of the things that I'm seeing, we hear that everything's separating. More people are becoming separate. People are becoming you're for that, you're against this or you're against that. And there's a lot of complaint that the world is becoming more polarized, I guess is the best word. And I don't see that. I'm not seeing that so much. I'm seeing what's happening is the other thing. People are trying to polarize us, and what's happening, I think, is that the reaction against that is we're seeing things now we never would have seen before, and it's opening our eyes to new opportunities and new possibilities and new potentials. I can tell you a story, Laurie. I teach, and I had a student a couple of years ago who was autistic, and I teach engineering, so it's not, it's very precise stuff. And this student blew me away every time I would give them an assignment, because he would come back with the right answer all the time. He was very, very bright, but he would get to that answer a totally different way than everybody else. And it was, I would correct 20 papers and it would take me an hour, and I would correct his paper and it would take me 2 hours just to follow everything he did. But it was brilliant. And it really opened me up to the perspective that there's not just one way, even for something as precise as what I teach. There's not just one way to do it. There's lots of different ways of doing it. And we need to be open. We need to be willing to listen and not judge,
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. So, Mike, as you're talking about that, one of the things I have come to understand for myself is that exact thing, that the way that Sydney sees the world is something I can't understand, in the sense of I don't have those same filters or experiences that she does. She's constantly in conversation with, my dad who's passed on. She's constantly in conversation with her friends who aren't in this room. She's constantly doing things I don't know how to do. And I'll say to her often, oh, sweetie, you got to remember, Mom doesn't know how to do that. It's so natural for you. I know you're doing something I don't know how to do. I know you're frustrated because I don't understand what you're trying to tell me. But I love you and I see you. And so wonderful, Mike, to hear you know that you were enhanced by understanding that young man was seeing something that you just can't see. And perhaps, my inquiry in my heart would be, oh, perhaps he was listening to his Akashic team, or perhaps he was hearing from a place of a different awareness, and what he brought to you, not only in the intellectual, I see this a different way, but now as you're here with us, you have this awareness too of, oh, how he is in the world allowed you to be different. And and as you were saying about the world united and how we're uniting, one of the things I see is the unitedness is coming within the value of our individual, unique knowingness. And even as you were talking about the concern of that, those spaces where people are still feeling separate, but we can see them. We can see that as a beautiful part of our unfolding right now, that what a gift they're giving us in their choice to feel separate, so that we can love them exactly as they are and bring that all together. And so that's how I see this world united. We're united in our uniqueness, and that allows for a wholeness.
It's like we've been, if we looked at this sphere again, in the past, we've only been seeing little pieces of it. And now, because we're seeing different people with different perspectives, seeing things from a different way, we're filling in the pieces we missed. And like Lisa, what you were saying was perfect, because for me, that fits in the part. Like, I think what happens is people concentrate on, oh, my past life, I was Cleopatra, or I was this wonderful person. I'm more interested in the one where I got beat up, and why am I carrying this sore shoulder through this life that I got in 5 lives ago? How do I get rid of that one?
Yeah. All those blocks. And it is phenomenal, because we can start to look at, what's behind, where are all my gifts, and where did I vow never to, access that, because that might have gotten me killed or hurt, and to really be able to release all of that old physical and emotional pain and trauma, so that we can reclaim all those gifts throughout time, space. And I really believe too that what we're seeing is all of these humans who are different than we have been in the past. Again, I really believe that the more galactic star seeds who are coming to help us and assist us, like you're seeing with your student, you don't have to think the way that everybody else thinks and that's the person who will bring through some phenomenal invention for us and change our world by really having a different view, a different way of thinking. And so I really see that as a huge gift, and all of the amazing parents who are helping, children with different gifts or gifts that are new to us, right? To share those, like you are, Lori, and you did, Mike, with your students. So beautiful. And this is what will transform our world in a phenomenal way with, in all ways, right?
What it really made me realize was that he had an ability I didn't have. It was almost like he had a sense that I didn't have. I had my 5 senses. Well, he had another one that I didn't have that allowed him to see the world more completely than I did. That's how I looked at it. And I see your daughter the same way, Lori. She sees a part of the world that we don't see. She has an ability we don't have.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And for some, the veil is so much thinner, right? Like you say, she can talk to her guides, she can talk to angels, your father who's passed on. It really is just that different sort of those gifts, activating those gifts. And I believe we all have them. And I believe that for many of us, it's choosing to focus on them and activate them so that we can, whether we're talking to our guides, to our record keepers, or to people who have crossed over, I think that will become much more natural for us as the veils thin, as the energy raises, as we go on and start to wake back up to the unified field, that we are always all part of the unified field of one. We are all connected. And when we say, yes, I'm totally connected, that means I can be very telepathic with my children, with my family, with my students, if that's who I'm choosing to be more telepathic with. Or I still speak to my mother who crossed over 20 years ago, and so as well as the record keepers. So it's really beautiful as we just say, yes, I have those gifts. We all have those gifts, and just start to either learn to use them or just kind of dropping into our heart and starting to listen. Sometimes it's just as simple as that.
Yeah, I can see it in this world, in this conversation, this spot where when we gather in such ways that so many souls are coming together in their unique way of understanding, we begin to celebrate ourselves differently. We begin to know that exactly as I am, I can celebrate that ever-changing thing of me, that in this moment I'm this and it's beautiful, and in this moment I'm this and it's beautiful. And as we do that, as we decide to say, I'm going to celebrate who I am, all of a sudden then we start celebrating the soul next to us, the person next to us, in ways that we are surprised by. We're often surprised that we see this uniqueness and excitement in somebody who before we might have been like, oh, their difference feels wrong to me. And as we move out of that framework and that paradigm of wrongness into this framework of unity and, conscious connection, there's this excitement that goes on when you see somebody in that new light, right? And you understand they see the world in a different way. And just, it feels so lovely to stand beside somebody and know in that standing, I now have a whole other view that I didn't have before. And I've seen it in my experiences where I've wanted to be in a place like this where I'm having this conversation. And 10 years ago, I would not have been able to picture this. Yet I stood beside somebody who had a different view. And then my view expanded. And then I stood beside somebody who had a different view. And my view expanded. And then all of a sudden I'm here in this place I couldn't have imagined before, but I knew I was meant to be. And I think that's what's happening in all of these conversations, is we're creating these spaces for people to know that they're moving where they're meant to go, and they can feel themselves be enhanced in each experience towards it.
I noticed that we've been joined by Dr. Yugandhar, and Dr. Yugandhar, I would like to just take a minute to acknowledge who you are, because I don't think anybody's really come through and done that yet. So I wanted to just tell people a little bit about you. You're trained as a general surgeon in conventional system of medicine.
Yeah.
You're dedicated your life to the awakening of human consciousness, which you call spirituality. And Dr. Yugandhar's experiences in various segments of spirituality, metaphysics, including astral travel, ESP, and past lives, and an extensive study of various schools of spiritual thought across the world, got him to focus on educating and forming mindsets as part of raising consciousness. So Dr. Yugandhar is passionate about inviting various masters into one platform, as you are today, as a part of unifying all the spiritual forces working across the planet. He's a pioneer in bridging the mainstream medicine with inner transformation, intuition, and energy medicine, leading to what he calls transformational medicine. So we've all been talking just before you joined us about transforming and transformation, and how the different perspectives each person is bringing here today transforms each one of us. And I noticed Grandmother Parisha has also joined us. And let me tell you a little bit about Grandmother Parisha. She's a spiritual elder and a global leader and humanitarian. And she joined Dr. Yugandhar in 2012 to carry this vision and to partner in the World Parliament for Spirituality. She celebrates 80 years serving, has never taken fame or fortune. She's mastered the science of abundance principles, only to speak to herself as a child of God, loving and living on the earth. She's acknowledged as the reincarnation of Tara by Rinpoche Kalu and by Bhutan Ranpandi. And I know she also reads and interprets ancient texts. So we have two people who've joined who can definitely talk about transformation that we've been kind of carrying the ball for a while. So both of you, welcome, and please join us.
Very, very good. Thank you very much. I've been listening in to Lori and Lisa talk, and just absolutely awesome subjects on the point and delivering with such passion. So I appreciate everything that you've given us and joining us. Dr. Yugandhar, did you want to share something?
Yeah. So events, you're talking about transformation, Mike Diller. So transformation of the frequency of the planet from the existing level to a persisting higher level is the goal of what we are together in the present time, why we are here in the present times. Like, there is a purpose of individual life. There is a purpose for the entire generation of mankind. There is a purpose, there is a collective purpose. We are the real custodians of truth. We are the real holders of the truth. But collectively, we can take this existing frequency to a higher one with the help of truly joining together unconditionally, when we join together unconditionally, the convergence of our own consciousness, individual level and collective level, can create a permanent impact, which I'm calling it as quantum leap in the human consciousness. Instead of a gradual phenomena, there will be a drastic leap, a sudden leap, and it persists, it stays. Because once a person at individual level, at a collective level, tastes a higher frequency, that goes to the memory. We have to create that memory, we have to awaken that memory at a mass level. Many individuals have awakened already and caught hold of that memory. And those who have already awakened and caught hold of the memory need to come forward, step forward, collectively. Only the collaboration and coalition rules, no competition here. In the awakening of human consciousness, there is no competition. All competitions are nonsense. All comparison is nonsense. One thing which is going like a thread in all the needles, each needle being a human being, is this consciousness. When we can move from the needle to the thread, I think we can see the commonality. So just now, grandmother and myself were discussing with some of the thought leaders who are masters of the media, spirituality in media. One of the speakers was telling, he saw an angel telling him that the global spiritual awakening is going to happen with wonderful thought leaders. And he felt very happy with the invitation of the World Parliament of Spirituality. He said, this is the thing with which we need to move forward. So the World United is welcoming each one of you. Loree Cowling, Lisa Burnett. We are forming council membership across the world. Your leadership is extremely required. The collective leadership of each one of us is extremely required. Individually, we cannot really impact the world the way we can collectively impact. Where the unity becomes more important than uniformity. Unity through collaboration, unity through coalition for the cause of global awakening is very, very important. So I invite personally Lisa Burnett and Loree Cowling as well to join this World United Councils in whatever position responsibility that you feel like. So here I would like to listen from you, Loree. Any inputs from your side? Not audible, please. Loree.
Loree,
How's
you're on
that?
mute. Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah.
I always
Loree.
forget. I put that extra mute on my speaker often on my microphone. Thank you for the opening of this space for that coming together of everyone in that unity consciousness. I started to fill out the application the other day, the form for the council, as soon as I think we had just been on a call together as speakers, and I had opened it up and started to fill it out, and we'll complete that today.
Thank you.
I truly hear what I truly hear this space of the leadership is about knowing that we have a gift of an understanding that allows other people to see the gift of their own understanding, and to be able to be a part of this in this conversation, in this way, the way the world is opening to that is truly beautiful, and the impact has such an incredible ripple. So thank you. And thank you, Mike, for holding the space for me today to allow myself to be received by so many. Thank you, each of you.
Yeah, thank you, Loree. So how about you, Lisa Burnett? Any inputs from your side?
I think it's oh, yeah, okay, you can hear me. A phenomenal work you are doing, and I feel very honored to be invited to join the council, and I would love to join you. I am completely, in alignment with your path and this purpose of bringing awakening to humanity. That has really been what I was aware that I came to do when I was only about 3 years old, and literally started studying around 14, because I knew that I was here to help wake people up. So I was one of those weird 14-year-olds who was all about enlightenment, when people didn't know what that was back in the, hardly 60s and 70s. So thank you. I think it's just such a beautiful path and concept, and I am honored to join you.
Thank you very much. So here with a link is being texted on the chat box. So you can go through the details, please. Basha, can you make the link appear here? Yeah. So thank you very much, Lisa and Lori. Thank you very much, Mike. Thank you, grandmother. Wonderful sessions, wonderful talks.
Wonderful job, Michael. Wonderful job. And Laurie and Lisa, just know you've made an impact, and you being here has made a difference. There's no way to put that into a word other than to say we celebrate that you joined us. Thank you so very much.
So here with, you can see the link here.
Oh, yeah.
Can you see it? Yeah. So all the details are here, and you can take your inner voice, you can take your inner coil, and make a decision.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And I want to thank you, because I made 2 new friends today.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh.
So thank you very much. So I think we track, this is track 2, right?
Track 1. This is track 1.
This is track 1. Youth empowerment track is going on. If you have time, we all can join there and spend time, cheer up our speakers there.
Before we go, I would like to say I listened yesterday, grandmother, to your speaking, and as you did, I could feel this change in my being and my body and my essence. And I just want to thank you so much for that. On Thursday, not yesterday, on Thursday. And I could truly feel this expression of the newness of me just receiving you. And so I just want to thank you for that. And I know that others around the world are feeling the same.
It's good to find those who can express love without hesitation. You and Lisa do that very, very normally. Thank you so much. And I appreciate that reflection.
Thank you.
The wisdom of grandmother is a great blessing to the world in the present times.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really a very, very great blessing. And we need to find out the pockets of wisdom across the world. Yesterday, for me, grandmother is a very young girl, passionate, curious, very enthusiastic. 80 years is for physically, for her spirit, it is young. She is very young. As long as one learns, one stands young. That is a secret of youthfulness, nothing else. So yesterday, Janet Smith Warfield, she is 88 years. She mailed me, I'm joining you in the Global Council. I've been waiting for this for the past 50 years, she said. 50 years she has been waiting for this moment. And with all my heart and spirit, the rest of my life, the Global Council of the World United, we are going to collectively create this miracle of awakening the consciousness. That's what she told me. Yeah. Thank you very much once again. Thank you, grandmother. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Lisa, Lori.
Thank you for joining us. I appreciate everybody. It's a wonderful session, and we will see you all on the YouTube channel or tomorrow. Take care and have a wonderful day. Stay safe.
Yes. Thank you very much.